Welcome back to another episode of F2P MMO, and today's another back in the lane memory of Paragon here, but I'm playing Grux here on the top lane, and one of the things was for this one it was a great start, but then the game kind of got tailored off a little bit where I wasn't scaling as well as the opposing team, and my strategy at the time was to build up attack damage and then also attack speed. And one of the things I realized as we go later into the match a little bit was that I wasn't building enough lifesteal, so I didn't have quite a bit of sustain throughout fights. And here I can see he's actually very aggressive. He's pushing it right under my tower, and he's actually not afraid of backing up. So one of the things I wanted to do was poke him a little bit but not take too much minion damage, and as well as trying to get last hits on the minions. The other is I realized he continuously come back for more, so I kind of press him and push him back, and on the minimap I saw my jungler waiting, so I've set up my Q for Grux to pull him in and then give him a little bit of bleed effect and then let my jungler finish the deal. So that was a fairly good gank, and then now I realize, okay, so there's a little bit of downtime, he's not available, so I'm going to try to push this group of minions under the tower, under his tower. One of the things I realized just looking back at this game, I can definitely see that playing third person compared to possibly League of Legends, it does get a little bit messy with the camera view, especially it can get quite dizzying and shaking. I do miss this game. There have been quite a few updates with this particular game since it went off the servers. There are multiple teams right now that are actually building this game. There's one that's called the Core. They are definitely still in closed alpha phase, but they've been releasing certain footages and images of the game that they're developing, and it looks very similar, but I think it's even better. At least the cards and point system for building and scaling your character here. So one of the things that I guess I'll take this time is to do kind of a channel update. I know it's been a while since I uploaded a video. Hopefully this one will get to you guys in January here of 2019. Happy New Year. I am going to be uploading a few more videos, but not Paragon. I will find some good ones, just for memory's sake, but there are a few other ones that I'll be uploading, so keep your eye out on that. If you haven't, feel free to hit the subscribe button and also the bell button so you get alerts when I put new videos up. Here he got a little bit overspread, took some damage from my minions, and I decided to go after him because he spread himself way too far from safety, so luckily I was able to close the distance and pull him in. So now I realize he's dead again. I am trying really hard to push the minion wave under his tower again. And once you reach level 5 in Paragon, typically that's where you can get your ultimate. Grux to me has been one of my favorite characters to play beside Chimera. He is to me a CC king. He is so capable of doing crowd control, and then if you get his attack speed and damage up, he can wreak havoc on you from his base attack. His Q is a pull, and one of the things that I don't like what they did from the old game, because he was one of the older original characters in the game, is that they nerfed his pull. His pull actually used to be a longer distance. They instead made it shorter and then wider, which to me, they should have just kept the length and made it wider. His E is a dash, and it helps when you're basically initiating and going into a fight. And here you can see that I should have pulled right away, but I didn't, or else I would have had him. Instead I did an auto attack after the dash, which did nothing, didn't slow him down or anything. So yeah, his E is a dash that can close distance or can get out of sticky situations where you're in a team fight and then you realize you're just taking tremendous damage. Grux is a big target, so he tends to be easy to basically target in the middle of a fight, and usually he's one of those like bruisers that will initiate a fight. I think in this video I realized there was two things looking back that I should have fixed my build. One, I should have made him a little more tanky, and then two, I either go with more tankiness or I would go with more sustain. As I was playing later into this game, I realized I didn't have as much sustain, so I would get into a fight and I had to pull out fairly early and wasn't able to stay with my teammates. One of the things I realized was he was continually pushing the minions to me, and there's good and bad here. Good is that I get pretty much free farm because he's already realized being aggressive and getting staying under my tower wasn't a good idea, and I was punishing him for it. Bad on the sense of without my jungler being around, I wasn't sure if there was a gank coming, and with him pushing, he's actually fairly good with crowd control, so I didn't want to have him crowd controlling plus minions plus someone else coming out of my jungle. So I made sure that I wanted to at least push towards his tower. Now, one of the things I did realize when I was pushing towards his tower, he started ganking the middle lane, which also I made a mistake of not communicating with the rest of my team and letting them know that he was missing from the lane. But I'm sure they should have seen him from the mini-map. Other than that, I realized, okay, since he's not showing up in lane, I am really going to punish him for not being here, so I am going to push the minion wave again, going into his tower and try to really take down his first tower here. So a few things that I've been working on, I've got a new computer, so now everything is kind of running a little bit smoother, editing and actually playing games. The other has been for me just figuring out where to go with this channel. I feel like I did, so since Paragon kind of went down, I did give League of Legends a try, and I have to say I'm not the best when it comes to MOBA, and it's fun, it definitely is, and it's definitely a different adjustment. I can definitely see Paragon's weaknesses when it comes to when they built this game, because I think League of Legends does certain things much better than what Paragon was trying to emulate. Paragon didn't have a really good point system or card system or equipment system to build their characters and to scale, and then there was continuous lack of balance. And you will see even in this game, there were certain times where certain ultimates, like my ult versus certain other people's characters' ults, there wasn't a clear priority on which ult can nullify or cancel someone else's move set or ult. And so I realized, okay, there are certainly bugs that needs to be fixed. Granted, I think Paragon at the time was still in open beta, but they've been in open beta for almost a year when I was playing this. So yeah, it was one of those things. I started to see major differences between the success of League of Legends and the failures of Paragon. And if you guys are wondering what character I play in League of Legends, I actually play Darius, and I actually play top lane. I like tanky characters, I always do, and I like characters who can CC very well. Definitely like Grux. So here I'm trying to take the attack buff, and she just yanks it, and then she's going after me, and she misses her ult and her dash, and I'm just doing some serious damage with my ult, so I pretty much annihilate her. Then he comes in and luckily misses. I walk straight out of his CC punch, and then I realize, oh crap, I'm cornered, but then luckily my team has come over. Now here I could have stayed, but I didn't want to risk it because I didn't want to give the opposing character points, and I'm about like 2 hits away from death, and I'm low on mana. If I had some mana, I probably would CC him, and also my ultimate was under cooldown. So there's one problem was I should not have gone for more damage and attack speed. I should have gone for lifesteal. Lifesteal here would have given me more sustain, and that would have been much better. And the other was I should have either gone for lifesteal or gone for armor or health to get beefy, because I'm only at 1k 1k health, so it was kind of bad. Here I kind of missed an opportunity. This is what I'm talking about with his Q, his pull. It used to be longer. It is much smaller, and then I realized I'm not diving into that. So yeah, Grux was he was really good in the beginning games, but when they made a few updates on him, and I didn't even get the attack buff that was right there on camp, but I think I was wanting to push the right lane because everybody was left on the mini map. But yeah, I kind of do miss this game, but I also don't miss it in the sense of like, oh my god, it was a really good game. I think it was a really good concept that needed a lot of polishing. I think after playing League of Legends, I realized it's a much more polished game. It certainly, in this situation, I think it certainly was a much more well-developed game, much more thought out and well-balanced. Here, I kind of took the bait. I knew I could go one-on-one against the first character, but then he came in and ganked me, and then so it was a 2v2, 2v1, and I realized I just didn't have to sustain in that fight. If I had lifesteal or some sort of extra health and whatnot, even a potion would have probably helped. But yeah, I think he got very smart when he realized I dashed towards it, so I had no escapability at that moment. But one of the things I did realize was my ult Grux's ult does a stun, so anyone within a certain range of his stun is basically stunned, I think, for like 2 or 3 seconds, and that at least gets one hit off of one auto hit off. Unfortunately, I think another thing that looking back at this was I really wasn't dominating the especially the buff lanes, the jungle lanes that had the jungle buffs. I should have gone after them quite often. Instead, I didn't do it, and I realized my jungler wasn't doing it, so that was kind of disappointing. And then I think the rest of my team, we didn't really have someone really tanky, and that was quite a problem here. They had quite a bit of CC, and then here's a glitch. She's supposed to die, no health, but she's still running around under our tower. So yeah, that was, as you can see, open beta status. Here, this person really got a little bit antsy and came in, and then here I was trying to see if there was who was going to initiate the fight, and then I pretty much jumped in and tried to stun, and as you can see, my ult didn't stun anybody. They got away before the stun, and then as well as the fact that I don't know what it is with his stun, but Grux's stun used to be very effective. Now it seems like it was nerfed. So yeah, the game had a lot of unbalanced characters, matchups, and I think that was one of the biggest issues that kind of was a drawback for me towards the end when I decided to stop playing. Other than that, I think back to League of Legends, I've realized it requires a lot of practice, and I haven't dedicated the time to really practice, but there are a few characters that I really like. Darius is definitely one that I really thoroughly enjoy, and then a few other ones. Aatrox, I think I really like Aatrox. So most of them are all tanky. So top lane tankers, kind of beefy guys that I like to play. I've tried Xin Zhao, I've tried a few of the DPS guys, and one of the things I realized is not really a huge fan of squishy characters that can't take a lot of damage. There are some guys with some phenomenal just like hand speed, and they're capable of basically going really quick in combos. And I started to realize, man, there's some people that are just really good in MOBA. They chain their combos so fast. I remember there was once I was playing one character, I can't remember, but I was playing against someone who was playing Darius, and they can get the 5 stacks on me drastically fast. So we're kind of coming towards the end of this matchup, where I kind of stopped it short, mainly because after this we just started losing badly, and I didn't have sustain at all. No lifesteal, no health, no armor. And so yeah, I wasn't scaling as fast as my opponents, and our team just started losing team fights over and over again, and I think towards the end we just pretty much lost. So yeah, an upcoming game so I bought a new computer, and with the new computer came a new game, and it's called Battlefield 5. And I know there has been mixed reviews about it. A lot of people weren't happy about it. I remember playing when I was in college the first Battlefield game that ever came out, and that was really fun. To be able to drive tanks, you can play as a medic, as mechanic, you can play all sorts, and so in that sense I really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to having that playthrough, let's play, walkthrough, and coming up soon. So that's something I'll be working on. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Don't forget to subscribe, and also click on the bell button to get notifications for future uploads. Thank you.